And you know it is that time of year. Let's make your yards beautiful. Not only beautiful, let's make it easy to make it beautiful, okay? And with us right now, a good friend of the show, it is Masood Yarmand, who is the product expert at the Yarmand Store. And YarmandStore.ca for all the details. Where are you guys located out of again?
We're actually not too far from here, so on Woodward Drive, just near Maitland and the Queensway.
You've been around for quite some time, though, your store?
We have. We actually had our first store not too far from the station in the heart of Westboro, and obviously there's a lot more condos there now, so we've moved close enough, but more industrial area.
The weather's definitely getting better. You know, normally we're outside looking at some of this stuff. Today we're inside, which is okay, and it's good because you got a blower here that would probably just blow me right off set if we were outside, because you just go for it because we have more free range out there. But here you can't, just to let you know.
Yeah.
If you fire it up.
So,
tell us about some of the items that you've got here for starters.
Sure. So basically, we could have a quick conversation. The spring is starting. What to keep in mind, what tools would be more useful to simplify what we got to get done. And there's a lot of battery products coming out, so I'm going to show you a few that could simplify not only how you use it, so it's easier to work with, as well as maintenance is more easier and probably cheaper on the pocketbook as well.
Yeah.
So we all have some sort of a jerry can because mostly it's gas equipment we're using.
Yeah.
More and more as the technology is being developed, you could essentially transition into a battery pack to power most of the tools that you could use on your lawn.
Oh, really? Is that something new then? Because everything used to be pretty much gas-fueled, right?
Yes, and still is. Majority of the equipment, we have a shop that maintains them as well. It's mostly gas, but it's transitioning to battery just because of all the benefits it has. The only limitation has been over the years that the battery wasn't quite strong enough to hold charge so you get the runtime. And with new technologies, for example, this one by Husqvarna, you got lithium-ion cells that can hold the charge and give you almost the same power as a tank of gas.
Okay, so that's good.
You're trying to
doesn't smell as bad either.
Doesn't smell at all.
Sometimes you like the smell of gas, but it gets all over your hands, clothes, whatever.
Yeah, it could get messy. The fumes of the machine itself, so not only it's got an environmental issue, but as well you're taking that all in.
Yeah.
And noise levels.
Okay.
So they're a bit noisier when they're gas. So nothing wrong if you have gas equipment. You should maintain it as spring is coming up, do all the basics. But as you're investing in new tools, keep in mind there are better alternatives.
Okay.
So for example, most people would have a blower, you know, just for cleanups, and it's great to get all the debris out, some salt on your driveway and all that that's been left over from winter time.
Of course.
All you do is pop in the battery, since we can't start it here, but it's as easy as pressing the button.
Yeah.
So there's no pulling required. It's almost guaranteed to work every time you pick it up.
What does it mean to aerate your lawn? What does that word exactly mean?
Great question.
Yeah.
So you're probably starting to get people knocking on your door, those companies that would like to aerate the lawn. Great idea. Essentially what it is winter's along and there's a lot of snow piled on our lawns. It packs the ground quite a bit. What aerating does is it takes some plugs out of the lawn, so it kind of gives it some buffer. So that way, essentially the roots have some breathing room.
Okay.
So that's what aerating does. You've probably seen your neighbors if you haven't done yourself. Great idea to do that as the first thing in the spring. You know, the ground is still soft, and then from there onwards, your grass will love you for it because it will grow better.
So that's something we can do ourselves without hiring a company to come in?
You could if you had the tools. Mostly it's easier to get somebody to do it for you unless you want to rent one of those equipment, because they're usually industrial quality. But once that work is done, you're back to maintaining the lawn, which is usually done with tools like this. So you know, it will be a matter of time before grass starts to grow.
Yeah.
So we know there's all sorts of different equipment. What I have right here.
Is that a robot?
Well, it looks like more like a Batmobile, but
yeah.
It is a robot.
Okay.
This is Husqvarna's Automower. They're one of the original designers of coming out with a robotic concept to take care of all your lawn maintenance. So essentially what it is this is going to replace your lawn tractor or your zero turn to get the job done, and you don't have to do it. It does it on its own time.
Okay.
So essentially, you know, summers are short. We would like to enjoy the outdoors before, you know, winter comes back.
Yep.
And although it's nice to be outside, you might as well do activities that you enjoy more than just cutting grass. So that's where these things come in. It's fully automated, so essentially it has a a pad, you program it, and then once the setup is done, because you set up a boundary wire around your property, it's sort of like a dog fence. So it's more like a pet than a lawnmower.
It's like a pet. You don't have to feed it though, right?
No, it feeds itself.
Oh, like it eats your grass?
That's right.
Like
so
a cow?
Every time, it's essentially, we're going back in time.
Really?
So we used to have sheep graze our lawns, then they used to fertilize it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, eat the grass, then fertilize. Automower does about the same work. So it's cutting so often that the clippings are used as fertilizer on your lawn, and you'll have a beautiful lawn.
Is it a challenge though? Because some yards, or there's rocks, there's trees. I mean, how efficient is this when you have those sorts of items in your yard?
Yeah, so Husqvarna has done a great job to make sure this can do complex lawns, simple lawns, different situations. You have gardens, trees, it can work around it. Obviously, there are limitations like anything. So let's say if you got an area with very rough terrain, you got rocks mixed with it. To be honest, no mower will go through that. So same with the Automower. But as long as you got relatively average grass area, it's not a ditch that's big pit hole.
Then we should be good.
Yeah, so if you could use your lawn tractor in it, this will do it a lot better.
Okay.
And then if you got incline and steep areas, this can handle better because the grade could be up to 45%. That's very tough for us to drive with a lawn tractor if you're in
for
the
sure.
outskirts,
A little dangerous, awkward.
Yeah.
You could fall off that lawn tractor. No one wants that.
No.
We only have about 45 seconds left, but I want to ask as well, I mean, trimming hedges and stuff, obviously, is that a spring project?
Yeah, so cleaning up everything is part of spring work that you do.
Yeah.
So, tidying up your hedges would be great. And then as the season goes on and you are cutting either with an Automower or a regular mower, then your regular trimmer comes in handy. So
is that a weed whacker?
Yeah. So this one is actually extendable, so it could be extended to different heights.
Wow.
And then you're going around and really tidying up and making sure you have a nice lawn. Again, you could have a battery one.
Oh, good. I like the battery ones. That's just easier.
Effortless.
So, of course, all these great products, all this information can be found at your store.
Yeah, or you could go online. We have Automower.ca specifically for these products, and YarmandStore.ca for everything else here.
Wonderful. Thank you for keeping our lawns pretty.
Thank you.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Masood, for being here today. We've got more daytime coming up. Ottawa Race Weekend is going to be here very soon, and some people that are going to be keeping us safe on the tracks, on the roads next.